Fired from my dream job, I built a bigger empire. Here's what happened next. The email arrived on a Tuesday morning, the subject line dull and corporate. Trellis Systems announces executive changes. I opened it with some curiosity, though. I wasn't expecting much. Trellis Systems today announced that Evan Strickland will be stepping down as Chief Executive Officer, effective immediately. The board has appointed Jerome Phillips, currently Chief Operating Officer, as interim CEO, while a search for a permanent replacement is conducted. The message went on to quote the board chair, mentioning a return to core business principles and a refocus on client relationships. But the subtext was clear. Evan had been ousted. I forwarded the email to Gregory, the CEO of Meridian Technologies, with just a single question mark. His response came almost immediately. Sinking ship. Too little. Too late. He was right. The damage had already been done. In the 3 months since I joined Meridian, we had secured contracts with many of Trellis's former clients. These clients had moved on and integrated into our systems, and with the switching costs, they were unlikely to return. Just as I was finishing my morning coffee, my phone buzzed. It was from Harold Barnes, the purchasing director of Patterson Healthcare, Trellis's biggest client. "Laura?" Harold's voice was warm but serious. "We're not renewing with Trellis. Their service has gone downhill since you left, and frankly, this new salesperson they assigned us seems more interested in taking selfies than understanding our compliance requirements." I kept my voice steady as I replied, "I understand your concerns, Harold. You need a partner who understands your business. We need you, Laura. You've pulled our bacon out of the fire more times than I can count. Remember when our system crashed during the Medicare audit last year? You had your technical team on it within 20 minutes on a Sunday?" I smiled. "I remember. Well, we're ready to move forward with you. We'd like to talk to Meridian directly." After we hung up, I texted Gregory immediately. "Patterson Healthcare is on board. $5 million annual account heading our way." Gregory's response was quick. "This is why we hired you." The next month was a blur of successes. National Building Supply, Hartman Manufacturing, and several other former Trellis clients all reached out, ready to follow me to Meridian. One by one, they expressed dissatisfaction with Trellis's new leadership and the lack of understanding of their needs. Evan had created a snowball effect. The board had been so focused on flashy new leadership that they ignored what really mattered: relationships, trust, and expertise. 6 months later, I stood on stage at Meridian's company-wide meeting addressing over 300 employees. The quarterly results were displayed on the screen behind me. Revenue up 64% year-over-year, new enterprise clients, 12 former Trellis accounts, client retention rate 98%, stock price increased 42% since last quarter. I looked out into the audience, my core team sitting in the front row, Valerie, Daria, and the others who had followed me from Trellis. They were the heart of Meridian's success. "These aren't just numbers," I told the room. "They're the result of a fundamental philosophy. Business is built on relationships, expertise, and trust, not trends or personalities." The applause was warm and loud. I could feel the energy of growth, the momentum of everything we had achieved in such a short time. After the meeting, Gregory approached me with a folded newspaper under his arm. "Have you seen this?" he asked, handing it to me. The headline read, "Trellis Systems acquired in fire sale, stock down 78% from peak." The article detailed how a larger competitor had bought Trellis at a fraction of its former valuation, with plans to absorb its technology and eliminate redundant positions. "I heard they're closing the Raleigh office entirely," Gregory added, "consolidating operations at their headquarters." I handed the paper back to him. "That's unfortunate for the employees, not all of them." Gregory smiled. "We've received over 40 applications from Trellis staff in the past week. Seems word's gotten around about our culture and leadership." Tell HR to prioritize those applications, I said. There are some very talented people there who deserve better. At the technology conference in Charlotte, I noticed Evan Strickland across the hall. He wasn't representing any company. His badge simply read consultant. Our eyes met briefly before he quickly looked away and disappeared into the crowd. Later that evening at dinner, I found myself seated at the same table as Jerome Phillips, Trellis' former COO. He looked at me with a rueful smile. "Laura Pickens," he said. "I have to say, your departure created quite the cascade effect." "Business evolution," I replied diplomatically. "Companies adapt or they don't." He chuckled. "That's one way to put it. Another way would be that Evan Strickland made the costliest mistake in the company's history when he replaced you with his girlfriend." I took a sip of water, smiling to myself. "How are things post-acquisition?" "Brutal," he admitted. "Most of the executive team is gone. The acquirer kept some of the development staff, but that's about it. Evan's reputation is shot." I nodded, offering no comment. But inside, I couldn't help but feel a quiet sense of satisfaction. Later that evening, as the conference came to a close, I looked around the elegant ballroom filled with industry leaders eager to partner with Meridian. For the first time, I felt that my success wasn't just about climbing the corporate ladder. It was about stepping into my own power and building something real, something undeniable. In the end, the sweetest form of revenge was never about getting even. It was about moving forward and thriving. I didn't need to fight for validation anymore. I had earned it by my own terms. I turned to face the future, knowing the best was yet to come. And sometimes, the hardest lessons are the ones that take us to our greatest victories.